Hey, it's Thursday, time for another Action Figure Adventures video here on SEO Toy Review. Today, we're taking a look at Arya Stark from the Game of Thrones Legacy Collection. These figures were made in conjunction between Gentle Giant Studios and Funko. Arya is part of Season 2, which also included Jaime Lannister, Brienne of Tarth, Khal Drogo, Robb Stark, and Daenerys Targaryen. Here we have Arya Stark out of the package. Now, I'm not going to try and be specifically spoiler-filled, but it's pretty hard to talk about these figures and not talk about details of the show. So spoiler alert, for what that's worth. Here we have Arya dressed kind of in her disguise as a boy. So she's left King's Landing. She's being hunted by the Lannisters, and she's trying to meet up with the Brotherhood. She's got her weapon Needle with her, and she's just generally disheveled and grungy looking. These figures have pretty good sculpting and paint detail. I think she looks a fair amount like the actress. There's a lot of great detailing in her tunic, and even down into her pants. There's a nice little hole there, everything. It just looks really good. Arya has articulation at the head. It's a pretty stiff joint. I don't get a lot of motion out of her head. She has decent shoulder joints that move out to the side and around. She has elbow joints that swivel and bend. She has wrists that can swivel as well as move in and out. Both of her hands are sculpted so they could possibly hold accessories. This one seems impossible to put an accessory in there. The thumb and the fingers actually touch each other, whereas this hand, it is possible to put Needle in there, even though it's really hard to do. Arya has a swivel at the waist. She has nice range of motion at her hips. There's actually a swivel just below the hip joint there. She has double jointed knees and a rocker at the ankle. There is no swivel though. Arya's accessory Needle is her sword. It's made of a pretty rigid plastic. It's so thin though it does have some flexibility to it. It's got some nice paintwork on the handle and sculpting there in the hilt. She does not have a hole or a holster sculpted onto her belt. Most of the other characters can holster their weapons. Arya doesn't actually have a holster for Needle, but in the show she slides it through her belt, so I was actually hoping that maybe this was sculpted in a way that it could hold it there, but it doesn't. For that opening shot, I just sort of hit it in the crooks of her arm to make it look like it was stuck on her belt. I stretched out her fingers a little bit with something more rigid than the sword to make it easier to get the sword in and out of her hand. Just remember to stick them with the pointy end. After her training with the Faceless Men, Arya Stark is definitely one of the cooler characters in Game of Thrones. I'm very excited to see what happens with her in this final season. Cool character who has some great moments along the way. I love her dynamic with the Hound. Just a lot of fun, so I'm really happy to be able to pick up an action figure of her. Thanks for watching this Action Figure Adventures video. Do Baby Skeletor a favor, hit that like and subscribe button.